This episode of the Run Lift Mom podcast is brought to you by Premium Jane. Premium Jane is a CBD brand, and you guys, they have some of the purest, safest, and most effective products in the industry. I know you want to run Lift Mom better. You can go to premiumjane.com, use code RunLiftMom at checkout, and save 25%. That's premiumjane.com, and now let's get to the show. Week number 4 on the 5K plan, you have got a 25-minute key effort. This is likely going to be your longest effort of the week, and you've got 6 total miles. I want to make the point that you can do this key effort whenever you would like. Mentally, some people love to do it at the top of the week because it's like they get it over with and then the rest of the week is cake. It's kind of an eat the frog style. If you eat the frog first thing, that's the worst and most disgusting thing you'll do, and everything else seems easy. Maybe you're someone who has social support of folks on the weekends, and so you'll need to do it at the end of the week. Great. What you're going to do in that case is estimate how far you're going to go in 25 minutes, subtract that from 6, because either approach, you've got 6 miles to go to include that 25 minutes. I've still got you focused on minutes over miles, and you're going to find this every other week in this plan. And again, that is a mental push thing. You can do anything for 25 minutes. Don't worry about the distance. That's too much pressure. Go for 25 minutes. Welcome to the Run Lift Mom podcast, where we're talking about running, lifting, and momming, not necessarily in that order. I'm so excited to bring you a running topic today. We're going to talk about tips for purchasing a treadmill. And this is not like, hey, buy XYZ brand. It's more the features that you need to look for as you begin this process. More and more of us are doing workouts at home. And then, of course, motherhood will throw a big wrench into things when you've got a fitness routine going. This is one of the most frequently questions that I am asked, and it's also ideal timing for this 5K flexible training series. As a reminder, at the top of each episode, you just heard it. If that was new to you, go a few back. In order, I am doing weeks 1 through 8 in your 5-week training schedule. If you don't yet have that schedule, what are you thinking? Go to runliftmompod.com/free 5K. You'll get the schedule. Yes, this is the one I've been charging $30 for in 2019 and 2020. It is free during this 8-week period, and then it goes bye-bye. Again, that's runliftmompod.com/free 5K. Now that you've got the schedule, let's talk about tips for purchasing a treadmill. Let's talk buying a treadmill. Now, you've got a few different options here. You can either buy directly from the manufacturer, i.e. buy that Peloton treadmill from Peloton. You can go through a traditional third party, i.e. Sears or Amazon, or from a fitness equipment company that carries refurbished treadmills. So be aware, if you go through a fitness equipment company, the frame is typically the part that is used, but refurbished means that the motor, the belt, like all the innards are going to be brand new. I actually worked for, a decade ago, a fitness equipment company, so I not only have experience with this process from the consumer end, but also by trade. So when we went to buy our treadmill, here are the brands that we looked into: Life Fitness, Soul, and Nordic Track. Now, we ended up going with the Nordic Track piece because we wanted a really good warranty. You guys, we have 3 regular users and they offer a bumper to bumper for extended periods. Ours is 5 years and it includes annual maintenance. That's really important. My advice, if you are going with this brand, Icon Fitness is the parent company, is to know who they outsource the local delivery and setup to. We had quite a few hiccups between purchasing and actually getting this thing in working order, and my only headaches came from that. I believe if you've got a good local person that is going to set it up and yours is going to be different than mine, that this is a really great brand to look into. It occurs to me, though, that no matter what brand you're looking at, there are a few things that you're going to want to look into. So let's talk about those things. Okay, the first thing that you're going to want to ask about, and I want you to use this language, is continuous duty motor. This means that when they're testing the motor, they're putting it to its top speed for an extended duration of time as opposed to a smaller test. Spoiler alert, a continuous duty motor is going to cost more, but it is also going to preserve the integrity of the speed on your machine. When you jack that thing up to a 7.5, you know that you are doing an 8-minute mile. So that's really important. Ask about continuous duty motor. Number 2, you want a box frame versus a T-frame. So think about that treadmill deck. If you were to chop it off at the back, a box frame is going to look like a rectangle. Okay, so it's a box versus 2 structures on each side of the deck, like parallel lines. A box frame is going to mean that it's more sturdy. Obviously, the metal part is the box. That's really important as well. So continuous duty motor, and to make sure that it has a box frame as opposed to a T-frame. Other considerations for you. I want you to think about who is using it. As an example, in our household, we've got 3 regular users. So that dictated some of the features that we looked for. I know you're wondering which Premium Jane CBD product I tried. You guys, I got the citrus oil. So the citrus CBD oil is in a tincture. So it's like a little glass bottle with a dropper. And the reason I did this is because I've seen the research and I know that sublingually, i.e. underneath my tongue, is the best way for CBD to be absorbed. Here's the thing though. I want it to be an enjoyable experience. This is part of my supplementation routine, and I've had brands that are unflavored. And if that floats your boat, good for you, but I want it to be tasty, and I really like the citrus. They do have mint available as well. You guys, it's tasty. It's a really great way to aid recovery and help with chronic pain associated with running, lifting, and momming for that matter. If you want to save 25% on Premium Jane CBD oils or gummies or topicals, I mean, you guys, if you can dream it, they have made it. Go to premiumjane.com and you can enter in Run Lift Mom, that's code RUNLIFTMOM, to save 25% at checkout. Again, that's premiumjane.com. I highly recommend the citrus CBD oil, but I want to hear what you love too. So what features are you looking for? It depends on who's using the unit. As an example, I like a hard deck. It feels like running outside to me. And keep in mind, I'm doing a lot of my marathon and ultramarathon training indoors. So it's really important for me to get as close to the terrain as I possibly can. And a harder deck really helps with that. My husband, on the other hand, who has years of jumping out of helicopters and does not want to do any more damage to his joints, he wants a softer deck. As well as some of the other users are up there in age, they want a softer deck for protecting their joints. Nordic Trek has a flex deck. Other brands have this exact same functionality, and it's essentially where you can make it hard or soft. Same treadmill deck, you can make it hard or soft. So that's really, really nice for us as a house who has multiple users. And speaking of multiple users, we loved getting a warranty that covered everything, including preventative maintenance. Every single year we get someone come and they'll not only make sure the lubricant is correct on the deck and replace as needed, but they make sure that our console is reading correctly. Here's a trick that we used to use back when I worked at the fitness equipment store. To test and see if the treadmill was reading correctly, you're just going to put it to a speed of 5, so 5.0, and run it for 3 minutes. If you get a quarter mile, 0.25, that means that your console is in fact working correctly. All right, and now we're on to part 2. How do you stay disciplined and motivated when you've got a treadmill and real talk you think it's boring? First of all, I'm going to ask you to change your mindset on this. I'm going to ask you to reframe. I don't wake up every morning at 4 a.m. and say, ugh, I have to run on the treadmill. I wake up and say, I get to have this time by myself. It really helps to pair your treadmill running with something that you look forward to. So for me, I like watching adult television. Give me all the Netflix, give me all the Hulu, all the things that I can't watch in front of my 4 and 6-year-olds. I like to do that on the treadmill. So it gives me something else to look forward to. Maybe you've got a podcast like this one that you save just for the treadmill. You can only listen to it when you're on the treadmill. That's another really good idea. Also keep in mind, as you're running on the treadmill, you should be going incline, and if your treadmill has it, decline. While you can't necessarily mimic the lateral movement in a train for terrain perspective, you know that when you're running outside, the road isn't necessarily flat at the same grade, no hills at all the time. So I want to encourage you to play those mental games with yourself and say every quarter mile or half mile or so, you will change the incline and maybe even the speed on it.